Good morning, everybody. What a wonderful morning it is. It's hump day. It's Wednesday. It is time for morning manna. Time for morning manna. I'm going to give Facebook Live a few quick seconds to build the audience, and then we're going to get right into the word that God has given me to share with you on this morning. We're in this whole series this week about leadership. I lead in any room. We began talking about the fact that you need to stop following, you need to start leading. You can be a leader in any room you find yourself in. And we said that we wanted to break that down with being the leader in your home, being the leader with yourself, being a leader on your job or career or business. And you can be the leader in the church, whatever position you are in, that God can prepare you to lead. It's time for you to lead. You were created to lead. We've already established that. We established that with Genesis 1, 23, 24 or so. And we talked about the fact that you were created to have dominion, rule, and be a leader and be fruitful and multiply. So that was the groundwork. We want to just wait a minute or two and get Facebook Live to get audience together. Then we're going to get right into the word. We're going to continue this series about leadership. Now, I'm going to give you the text, the talk, and the takeaway. What I need you to do is to share the word, and I want you to also make sure that there's some folk who really need the word that I'm going to share with you today. There's some folk who really need the word. You may not need it, but there's some folk who really needs this word that I'm going to share with you today. So a couple more seconds, we're going to get right into the word. You are a leader. Just keep that in mind. Every believer is a leader. We've already established that. If you are a believer, you are a leader. Because the Bible said for you to stand in front of folk and to ask them to follow you as you follow Christ. You are to use your influence for that. So now let's expand that and let's get into the word where you are supposed to lead yourself, lead your home, lead your business, lead your career, lead your church. Let's get into the word. Here's the text this morning, Colossians 3:23 through 24. This morning I just want to talk about it's your future, not your fault. It's your future, not your fault. It's not your failure. It's not your fault. We're talking about your future. Here it is, Colossians 3:23 through 24. Whatever you do, work as if you with your whole heart. Whatever you do, work at it with your whole heart, as working for the Lord, not human masters, since you know you will receive an inheritance, for you serve the Lord. Work with your whole heart. Work unto God, not human masters, not to man. Work because you are serving God and you will receive an inheritance. Right now, we looked at the unemployment, and there are millions of people who have lost their jobs, and perhaps you are one, or perhaps you know someone that have lost their job. What do I do now, Bishop? What do I do? My husband, my wife, my kids, whatever, my cousin, my TT, they lost their job. What do we do? I lost my job. What do I do now? I want you to grab this. It's your future. It's not your fault. The pandemic that we find ourselves in right now, it's not your fault. So if you have lost, if you have been furloughed, if you're going through some things, if you're wondering what to do with your business, all of those things, you are still supposed to lead in that room. What do you mean by that, Bishop? Here is the word that Colossians said. Paul is writing to the church at Colossae, and he says to them, look, whatever you do, you work with your whole heart because it's unto God. It's not to man. You weren't working for them anyhow. So the first thing I need you to grab is this. You are free, not fired. You're free, not fired. You're now free to do the next thing God has called you to do. You're free to move to the next level in what God has for you. It's your future we're talking about. It's not your fault, and it's not your failure. God has you and your future. So if you're in that situation this morning, you know of someone, you pass this word on to them. Hey, It's tough right now. I know you're going through right now. I know you're dealing with a lot of things right now, but no, it's God is your source. That was your resource. You are free, not fired. Here's the second thing I want you to get. You're fearless, not furloughed. You are fearless, not furloughed. Now I want you to grab this revelation here. If God took care of 1.5 million people for 40 years in the wilderness, as stubborn as they were, as grumbling and mumbling as they were, always giving Moses the hard way to go. But the word said their shoes never got holes in them. Their clothes never ran out. Now, if he did that for some incalcitrant, some folk who really was running their mouths every day about why are we here, but God still took care of them in the wilderness, don't you know that he's going to take care of you? Come on now. If he took care of them in the wilderness for 40 years, and you are in this moment right now, he's going to take care of you. And you ain't running your mouth like they are. At least I hope you're not. You're not complaining. You're praising. You're not mumbling and grumbling because you know God has you. So if it's not you, you share it with somebody that is going through. That you're fearless, not furloughed. You're free, not fired. Here's the third thing. You're going to be the first one hired back if you choose to go back. Because you might decide you want to do something else totally. And know that God has you. This may be, I want you to go back, and like I said on yesterday, if you look back at when many businesses were established, I love to do that. I look back at when businesses were established. A lot of them were established during the most difficult times in the history of the country. You need to grab a hold of that. This is a time for you to think in terms of that. If God is pushing you to that, okay, go for it. Bishop, are you kidding me? Yes. God's got you. Like I said, it's your future. It ain't your fault and it's not your failure. You didn't get fired. You got freed. You are faithful, not furloughed. And you're going to be the first one back if you choose to go back. Because God has you. Because you have always been working unto God. Now, how are you going to do that? There's some ways that you're going to be equipped. You can be equipped to do that. I'm going to hyperlink one way that you can be equipped to make that next move. But I want you to get this takeaway. Prepare to be promoted because you're the head and not the tail. You're in the front of the line, not the back of the line. And you're going to lead in any room you find yourself in. So you need to prepare to be promoted because you're the head and not the tail. And any room you find yourself in, you're going to be the leader in that room. The Lord be with you today. May his face shine upon you and give you peace. Share this manna with somebody. May not be you, but share it with somebody that needs to hear this word. That is your future. It ain't your fault and it's not your failure. God bless you. May the Lord be with you. May his face shine upon you, give you peace. I'll see you tomorrow morning with more Morning Manna. Bye now.